Hello and welcome to our first annual college-wide student conduct training process here at Northern Virginia Community College. We are very excited about the direction of student conduct and where we are going as a department. Our office, we do have, well, first let me say my name is Meryl Bentley, and I am the conduct officer for the Alexandria campus. Co-presenting with me is Mr. Steve Mosley. He is the conduct officer for the Annandale campus, and together we are working together to streamline our process and working with others on throughout the college to make this training process as simple and as consistent as possible so that all those who will be serving on student conduct panels will have the same or very similar experience. Please know that the Dean of Students office does subscribe to a student conduct mission, and it is to achieve a safe and supportive environment that promotes learning, student success, and improve retention and completion rates through the practice of integrity, respect, accountability, in a civil community. Please know that our keywords are safe, supportive environment, student success, learning, improve retention and completion. Student conduct is assuming some responsibility for the retention rates of the students that come through our office. We are moving away from the solely punitive approach and moving toward a more student development focused approach where we are using our processes to help students to learn and grow and become better, productive citizens, not just at Nova, but outside of Nova when they leave here, when they transfer, when they graduate, when they go into the workforce. We want to have positive reflections for the campus. We're shaped by the developmental model, Aston student involvement and engagement philosophy. We know that student engagement is critical to all student success. An engaged student is a graduated student. We know that research shows it time and time again. Aston's model and the data produced from this model supports that. So student conduct can focus on retention, persistence, and completion in how we do what we do in this office. We expect students to be more involved. And with that, we expect students that come through the Dean of Students office to be completers, to persist to a degree, and to complete. We know that engagement is a skill and must be learned, and our process will teach that. We teach it through the sanctions that we administer, but we also teach it through our conversations and how we connect students to the right resources. Sanctioned students, again, will be required to get involved. So as you are sitting and learning as a panel member, I really want you to think about how this model can and should be used around the table of the student conduct panel when you're making decisions. I'm encouraging everyone to tap into and start to really think about and believe in this philosophy so that our students can have a positive experience even in something that's normally considered negative. We do have a strategic plan. We want to improve office connection. We cannot expect students to engage if we do not engage. So it is so critical for us as conduct officers and those who represent the Dean of Students offices that we get out and show support to the many activities that go on our campus. And we need to evaluate through that process who we can connect with for the benefit of the student. We want to incorporate assessment and evaluation. What are our students thinking about our service to them? Is it beneficial? Are they getting what it is that we hope they will get? We want to continue to implement education and outreach initiatives. I know that Stephen and I, we attend orientation for new students and we talk about what it is that we do and how we do it. We visit many classes to include the student development courses, and we do campus-wide education. We want to increase the use of technology, which is why we're streaming this live, so that those who cannot attend in person this training, they can still get the training um, through technology. So we definitely understand the value that technology has with our ability to reach students and those who serve for our office. We get a question all the time about what our students are doing, and I say our students are no different than any other college students. They're doing everything, okay? We have some students that have behavioral concerns, and we connect with Nova Cares to make sure that we are meeting the needs of the whole student. There are some academic concerns. We know that sometimes our students don't always put their best foot forward in the classroom, and we help to address those issues. Of course, some of the conduct issues. This is where you all come in as the student conduct panel and you help us to hear some of these cases. How are cases managed? Cases are managed through of course, through our student handbook guidelines. It outlines, it's clear, gives clear direction and instruction in how we must operate to properly serve our students. And that's what we do. That is our first resource. Within that handbook, you will find college policies and procedures we must follow. Many institutions get into trouble with, the Office of Civil Rights or the Department of Education because we don't follow our own policies and procedures. As a panel member, it is critical that you understand the importance of doing so. And before you can follow them, you have to know them. So we encourage you to read the student handbook, get very familiar with it, print it out, and just keep it with you should you get any questions. I'll also say that panel members are walking resources for our students in our college community. So kind of get used to being in this role. Student rights and responsibilities are outlined there, and I always tell students, while you have a responsibility to fill while you're here, as a college, we also have the obligation to protect the rights that we promise to you, and we will do that. The student conduct process allows us to protect the rights of our student, especially when we follow the process as we should. The core values outline exactly who we are, and we subscribe to that in student conduct. But the best thing for student conduct is the One Nova approach. The streamlining this training helps us to ensure that everyone gets the same training and has the same understanding. So when we're working with students, we are properly applying the sanctions, we're properly understanding the policies and procedures, and most ultimately, the students who come through the process learn, grow, and change. So what happens when students get caught? We have a whole process outlined. An incident is reported. The Dean of Students office gets the report. We make contact with the student, and we do that through email. That is the official mode of communication and the only route in which we will communicate with the student in writing. The investigation begins. We work with everybody we can, faculty, staff, students who have witnessed the situation and who could provide us additional information to make the best decision possible. The student is sent a hearing notice, again, to their NOVA email. This notice outlines the date, time, location, and reason for hearing. And then a disposition is sent. The student is then notified in writing what the outcome is. Responsible, not responsible. Are they sanctioned, not sanctioned? They get all of that in writing. An incident is reported through the NovaCare's online reporting form, but we will accept reports through other routes. The online reporting form is the quickest route, however, because it's electronic. So if you click the link in this presentation, it will take you directly to the reporting form. If you have problems with this link, you can always go to the Nova homepage, and in the search engine, type in NovaCare's reporting form, and it will populate the form for you. Please take the time to review it. We always say what we're interested in receiving when people complete these forms is the 5 W's and the 1 H. While we appreciate all other details, the most important details are encapsulated in those 5 W's and 1 H. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Supporting documentation. I love this form because it allows you to upload pictures, text messages, videos, any other documentation that you think we need to have to make a good decision. Students, faculty, and staff know that they can upload supporting information. I encourage everyone to leave out assessments and diagnoses and to use professional language. Students might request to see the report, so how you write about the incident will be very important. So why am I sharing this with you as panel members? I'm sharing this because when you go back to your respective areas, you will be a walking resource for people in your department. You should be able to show people how to complete the forms, what we're looking for, what is very important for us to make good decisions. So it's very important that you know and have this information. The electronic report. Sometimes our cases are not all conduct. We may share and make decisions with other areas to ensure proper service and care of our students. Student contact is made again through their NOVA email. So we encourage them always to make sure that their email is working. And if not, go and see IT to make sure it works and to check it at least once or twice daily because important information is communicated to them through that means. Sometimes we have to use intrusive measures. Sometimes we call the student. Sometimes we send them a follow-up letter. And sometimes we go to their classes and try to give them, hand deliver the letters because we want them to have the letters. It is very informative and it increases the likelihood that they will participate. The investigation. We, again, work with everyone that we need to work with to get the right information about what has taken place. And by the time you all get to the table to hear the cases, we will have all the information that we believe you will need. Hearing options. We have an informal hearing option and we have a formal hearing option. You all, as part of the student conduct panel, are part of the formal hearing process. So you all will only hear a case if a student does not accept responsibility in the informal process and that they are requesting a student conduct panel hearing. So you all will not be involved in every student conduct case. You all will be involved in a select few. The hearing disposition is emailed to the student, and I want to say that in the sanctioning process, it goes back to the student conduct philosophy. We are here to help students learn, grow, and develop. And we can do that through the application of our sanctions. So we have two types of sanctions. We have the educational sanction, which requires the student to do something to show that they deserve to remain in this community. The administrative sanctions are sanctions that are applied that impact the student's status with the college. We never just give one or the other, we give both because both have meaning. And together they just work better. So, as a review, our philosophy is away from a solely punitive approach, and we're more a part of the student involvement and engagement philosophy and approach. We want students to learn from our process, not just that what they did was wrong or improper, but find a better way of thinking so that they don't repeat the same or similar mistakes. The student conduct process is guided by the student handbook. You guys, please take the time to read through the student handbook. You don't have to read the full thing in one setting if you don't want to, but maybe learn and read section by section when you have time. The process is definitely developmental in nature, and probably that is a new philosophy for many of you if you have served on these panels for a few years. And we make sure that the process does not change regardless of who's going through the process. There are several types of hearings, but the two that are primary are formal and informal, and you all are a part of that formal hearing process. Only a select few hearings will fall into this category, and it will be based on whether or not the student accepts responsibility in the informal process and if they choose the formal conduct panel hearing as an option. The student email is our primary mode of communication with them. We will not communicate to any other email because this is considered sensitive information, and the institution says this is our route of communicating that information. If you all have any questions, please, please, please email us. Again, my name is Meryl Bentley. I am the conduct officer for the Alexandria campus, and I can be reached at mbentley@mvcc.edu. My telephone number is 703-933-1854. Stephen Mosley, who is also the co-presenter, he is the conduct officer for the Annandale campus, and he can be reached at smosley@mvcc.edu, and telephone number 703-323-3362. We thank you so much for your time and attention in this training. We hope that it was very beneficial. We hope that it excites you in terms of how we will interact and with our students and help them to persist toward graduation. Again, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to working with you this year.